Hello, welcome to Broken Arrow. So I decided to give the multiplayer a try because the single player is actually pretty boring and not that much more interesting. So when you hit the play button, you'll have multiplayer over here, but it doesn't really tell you a lot of stuff, so you have to be careful. Skirmish, as you can see, it's only for AI. Scenarios is still AI. Campaign. The campaign is not bad, but the campaign is super boring and super badly made. I mean, they spend a full 5 to 10 minutes explaining how airplanes work, and then if you fail the mission you have to do it all over again from zero. And I tried the second mission as well, and that mission is also very annoying because it doesn't teach you the basics of gameplay, it just teaches you a very controlled scenario, which will never happen in a normal game. I don't understand this, so they need to make it very clear. This is what developers need to do. First of all, they just need to make very clear lobby names, very clear game modes, and especially choosing skirmish or versus AI or versus player. So how do I actually play multiplayer? I have custom skirmish standard, so I'll assume standard is the game I need to play. I need to find a server that is not password protected. That is standard. And this. This is the problem with most of these games. I'm so fed up with this. I think I'll give the game a negative review and that's that, because if you make a lobby system that doesn't have matchmaking, that means people will refuse to play with you unless you're a very good player. But how do you become a very good player? You play the game. So how can I start playing the game if I cannot? I'm not going to play PvE. I didn't buy this game to play PvE. The campaign is horrible. The PvE will just be as bad. So what do I play multiplayer? Why is it 5 instead of 10? What do you understand from this? Maybe match makes you a team of 5 versus another team of 5. This doesn't make sense. Why don't they just follow the Company of Heroes 2 lobby system, where you had a lot more clear indication of what the servers are? Just make it a tick thing. Multiplayer, PvP, make PvP, PvE. If I want to play PvP, show me the PvP servers. It doesn't have to be so complicated that you don't understand what's happening. I don't understand. How do I choose my faction? I want to play, let's say, as the Russians, because I made 2 arsenals for them and I haven't played them at all, which will be a problem, but man, PvE doesn't teach you anything. I don't know how to play and I want to join a quick game to learn how to play. Oh man, this is such a bad sign. They're splitting their community in 10 pieces already, with scenarios, with PvE, with PvP, with customs, with standards. Such a bad start in my opinion. Why is this one? I don't understand. Is this a multiplayer game or not? Why is it so hard and so annoying? I played so many multiplayer games and none of them had this much difficulty in finding a proper game. If you remember how the original Age of Empires 2 multiplayer lobby was created and existed for even until now, you'll understand why I'm upset about this. It should be a tick option. If I tick don't show me with servers with password, that should be enough. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out, and it's the worst thing I've ever saw in a video game this far. Or at least in a multiplayer game, so up to 5. Let me read the news because I don't understand what the developers did. I think they did something or changed something. game built to stay. Except it doesn't explain the most basic things to you. Exactly, I'm reading the Steam forums and this is the biggest problem. Matchmaking isn't fun because you're playing against pre-made teams that are either on Discord or just played a lot together. And they also spam a lot of stuff, probably. We need matchmaking. You need to say, I want to play with Russians and enter a matchmaking pool, not simply enter the servers of pre-made teams who have time. This is like the Dota on G2A, if you remember that. Well, I don't think you remember because not many people played it. There, the Scourge player always lost to the, what was the other side called? I forgot what was the other, the Radiant. The Scourge players always lost because people knew that if you want to win the game, you stay on the good side. If you want to lose, you stay on the bad side. And always played on the bad side because, well, I wanted a challenge, but the challenge was never really fulfilled because it was always horrible. Quick match, what does this mean? Tell me. Direct the Russians, at least we'll get to play as the Russians, maybe. I'm still reading the forums a little bit and nobody's happy about this. No, this will not work. I think I just wasted my money on this game. I thought this would be a very well balanced game, but you can already tell. I had the same issues with the Company of Heroes 2 and 3, but at least they fixed them somehow, somewhat, sometimes. Yeah, they also need a forfeit button. What else do they need? People are complaining about the single player as well, and people also want 1 versus 1 matchmaking. I think 1 versus 1 matchmaking will be viable. I like that one. So it's Russian versus Russian. I don't think Americans will even play the game. This continues. It's level 1s versus level 1s, 2, 3, 4. I will go with the heavy mechanized just because I want to see how certain things work. Probably, yeah, I don't even want to get into the nukes and the other stuff, the massive air power, because it seems like it's kind of a very volatile thing. You either win very much or you lose very much. It's like it's also one of those games that is not really a strategy game, it's more like a reflex game sometimes, so we will just have to see. This is not fun playing Russians versus Russians. There. Supposed to do. They don't tell you anything. This is one of the... Come on, Company of Heroes 2 did that so much more. Even Dawn of War 2, so I played mostly Company of Heroes 2 and Dawn of War 2. Never good at Company of Heroes 2, well, decent at some point at Dawn of War 2, but... I'll take a flank. Start with some light recon vehicles. Okay, maybe not. But a couple of... And for recon, probably we'll have these guys.
Приказ понял, едем. Поехали, потом заведешь.
Yeah, I don't think this will work for me because the game starts with all of your
Приказ
units.
понял, выезжаем. Беттер здесь.
And see what your units are. The game needs to be heavily modified to accommodate some of this stuff. Battle groups.
Выдвигаемся. Транспорт ждет приказа. Транспорт, слушаю. Покажите мне пехоту. И я бронетранспортер на связи.
Game has a lot of cool stuff I like, but it's just very unfriendly to newer players.
Понял, принял.
Especially because you start with everything. I thought you had phases to kind of show you how the game is played, but I was so very wrong.
Принял.
Unless you get to see the Terminators in action.
Готов прикрыть танки. БТР на связи.
Guess I'll focus over there.
Пути. Понял.
Defenses over there with the Verbals.
Принял. Выдвигаемся.
And some anti-air over there.
Двигаюсь к точке. Беттер здесь. Прикроем тяжеловес. Заводи мотор. Уже в пути. Поехали.
Things are going, are
БТР на
driving.
связи.
For air support. Well,
Приказ понял. Выезжаем.
don't have any more else.
Колеса приехали. Выдвигаемся.
It's a bad idea to all of stuff in there. Might as well see the value of forests, completely honest.
Транспорт на связи. Транспорт здесь.
Okay, so these will be expensive. I'll try to just stay on one side and not annoy
Противовоздушная
people too
оборона.
much.
Докладываю. Пути.
The problem is that they don't really show you the range too well.
БТР, слушай.
It's the only thing I want to keep alive, to be honest. I also like to have a lot of air defenses.
Принял. Выдвигаюсь. Уже еду. Приказ понял. Едем.
I have a feeling we should not.
Поехали, потом заведешь. Куда вас доставить?
Stay in the same place too long.
Куда вас довести? ПВО на связи. ПВО ждет целей. Двигаюсь к точке.
They should have descent, more or less.
Транспорт, слушаю. Уже еду.
Enemies.
Заводи мотор. Погнали.
Well, this is going to be hard.
Вперед. Колеса приехали. БТР на связи. Боевая машина на связи. Принял. Выдвигаемся. Транспорт на связи.
Yes. Coordinates.
Приказ понял. Выезжаем. БТР здесь. 90 на проводе.
I should really attack a little more. I'm a bit scared for now. Let's wait for all our forces to
Противовоздушная
arrive.
оборона. На приеме. Выдвигаемся. Пути.
And also have some heavier vehicles like the Armata.
БТР здесь. Очистить трюм. Бронетранспортер на связи. Сбросить лишнее. Транспорт
Вот это
здесь.
раз.
Ведем бой. Уже в пути. Перемещаемся. БТР на связи. Вперед! Вперед! Вперед!
Okay.
Куда вас доставить? Выбрасывай! Транспорт ждет приказа.
No,
Транспорт заказывали?
we'll leave them over
Заводи
there.
мотор.
Okay, go over there.
Покажите мне пехоту. Я покажу, что я такая машина. Т-90 слушает.
Tank will be over there. Where is my other tank?
ПВО на связи. Приказ понял. Выезжаем. Колеса в бою. Погнали.
This. I don't see them building a support area. Mildly concerning.
Армада готова к работе. Выдвигаемся. Транспорт здесь. БТР, слушай. Первый пошел. Кого надо поддержать огнем? Пехот, ревер. БТР здесь.
Okay, let's
Двигаюсь к точке.
attempt a little bit of a flank over there.
ГРУ слушает. Дома есть кто-нибудь?
Split up your troops and then we'll start attacking them. We don't have anything for long range, do we? The Dos Buratino. Let's bring them over there.
Быстрый марш! Понял, принял, едем! Терминатор на связи.
Everything kind of has 80 GMs.
ПВО, слушай. Повторите. Приказ понял, едем. Выдвигаемся. Включить радар. Ищем цели. Экипаж готов. Громко и четко.
My tanks are here, so I can probably start attacking this area of the map.
Принял. Сделаю. Противовоздушная оборона. Докладываю. Уже еду. Активировать радар. Ищем самолеты противника.
Or another one over
Куда вас
there.
довести?
Yeah, I'm playing the game way too slowly. And I just have some defensive lines, which
Противовоздушная оборона. Слушаю. Принял. Выдвигаюсь.
these guys need to be closer to the front line.
Уже еду. Противовоздушная оборона здесь.
And that's not a good idea, because if something happens, they'll definitely have stuff over there. I think I also want another vehicle.
Куда вас доставить? Приказ понял. Едем.
Wondering what they're doing. They're shooting tracking missiles, if you can call it that, out of the gun barrels.
Да, командир. Сдаю назад. Назад. БТР на связи. Пути.
No matter the map pans to your units, it's harder than it is. I don't think I have artillery with these guys. I just have
Я покажу,
stuff
что
to
я
help
там есть.
defend.
Двигаюсь к точке. Поехали.
Okay, and the more army you have, the more units you have, the
Транспорт ждет приказа.
harder it will be to get more units. Use the enemies. I mean, not enemies, the allies' spies.
Транспорт, слушаю.
Probably not.
Погнали.
Let's pretend we know what we're doing and do a little bit of a flank, which will end up badly.
Транспорт на связи. Под огнем вы. Цельтесь, дефицируйте, стреляйте. Колеса приехали. Танки грязи не боятся.
Wing.
Выполняю. Готов прикрыть танки.
Okay, I guess it's time to move out a little bit defensive.
Сами не летаем и другим не даем. Заводи мотор. Вперед! Вперед! Запускай машину.
Work over there.
Огнеметный расчет на связи. Да. Педаль в пол.
Yeah, I see how it goes. It just cannot move anything anywhere.
Огнеметный расчет слушает.
How does this work? I guess we have a fire mission
Ударю громко.
right there.
Огнеметный расчет ждет ваших указаний. Готов.
Bring them into range then.
Транспорт ждет приказа.
Yeah, so we lost everything over there, not a problem. We have more, I guess. Availability. So when do we get more? I guess in the second phase? Don't worry, have.
Кого надо поддержать огнем? Запускай машину.
We can take that post if we're careful.
Бог войны слушает.
Not really as big range as I thought.
Работаю.
Yeah, just slowly move there, you'll get it eventually.
Огнеметный расчет здесь. 333. Бог войны слушает. Уже в пути. Быстро на дорогу. Выдвигаемся. Огнеметный расчет ждет ваших указаний. Огнеметный расчет на связи. Мы под огнем. Квадрат 22 по улитке 3.
I think we can fire.
Прикроем тяжеловес. Огнеметный расчет на связи. Заряд!
Yeah, it's hard to understand.
Транспорт здесь. Транспорт на связи.
lot of ATGMs.
Бог войны слушает. Быстрый марш! Есть устроить
They're just
новую
using
звезду.
helicopters.
Мы будем на
Okay,
позиции быстрее.
helicopters that can attack much. Follow helicopter.
Огнеметный расчет слушает, мы в бою. Огнеметный расчет ждет ваших указаний. Приказ понял.
Can I see all of my units? I don't think I can see all of our units.
Армата слушает. Понял, принял.
With supplies. Supplies delivered.
Выдвигаюсь.
There's really no way to see your units in a war or something. You just lose them and then you don't know what you lost. Right?
Готов прикрыть танки. Боим как на параде. Огнеметный расчет здесь. Никто не выживет.
If I remember correctly, to capture something you need to fire at it.
Огнеметный расчет на связи.
Yeah, I see they're a bit slower than they should be.
ПВО, докладываю.
Bring their defenses forward. Like,
Противовоздушная оборона. Докладываю. Приказ понял. Едем. Армейская авиация слушает.
okay.
Координаты принял, выдвигаю. Всем вниз.
Hello, into the building.
Новая точка получена.
I guess we need infantry to capture this.
Двигаюсь к точке.
A little bit of recon.
Выдвигаемся на новую позицию. Даем ходу. Установлен новый маршрут полета. Вылетел к цели. Координаты принял.
Enough.
Летим туда. Траектория полета обновлена. Отходим на базу. Противовоздушная оборона.
Okay, the drone was destroyed. Nice. That supply truck coming today.
Сами не летаем и другим не даем. Заводи мотор. Покажите мне пехоту. И я покажу, что я нам поддержать огнем.
Yeah, I guess we need a resupply point.
Машина разведки готова. Тяжелый транспорт.
Slowly coming.
Давай прокатимся.
It's a bit forward.
Прикроем тяжеловес.
I'll take that point.
Разведка слушает. Да. Спецназ ГРУ на прием. Танки грязи не боятся. Вступаем в бой. Терминатор на связи.
Oh man, pressing control just moves your camera.
Кому нужны припасы? Покажите мне пехоту. И я скажу, что я там не понял. Разнесем их на куски. Кого надо поддержать огнем?
Yeah, move a little bit to get hit by
Боевая готовность, экипаж.
everything. Completed infantry.
Понеслась.
Exactly as I thought.
Логистика готова. Поездка окончена. Миссия окончена. Возвращаемся в депо.
Go back to base after
Огнеметный
Scarborough.
расчет здесь. Прикроем тяжеловес. Сдавай назад.
Yeah, the only thing, as a new player, I don't understand how you're supposed to look at all of your units. I mean, you'll forget where they are. You just have this minimap over here that pretends to show you something, but it doesn't show me anything. Can I sell the helicopter war? What's the deal here? see, so let's just call tanks. This is why I chose the tanks, because it's a little easier. It's like it has a hard time understanding basic tasks. So it's hard when the units kind of overlap each other. Yeah, I see some of the issues. I think they also destroyed my Tor. Because they did, obviously. Is actually quite small. Let's use it to destroy that area. So I have to be more aggressive somehow. I pushed at the wrong time and I defended at the wrong time. Tutorial taught me about line of sight. I forgot completely. Terminators. I think I would really like some support. Can't do anything over here, just helicopter spamming me. I'll just assume they're flying low and you cannot hit them because of that. And some stuff over there to see what's happening. I guess the biggest problem will be supply. Oh, I can see why destroying your supply will be so important. Need another Tor for those pesky helicopters. Them. Yeah, it would have been much better if they just showed you where your units are. Like the hardest thing is to control your vehicles, they just instantly get smashed by stuff. I'm going to attempt to use air unit. More Verba units. Because of that weird helicopter spam they have. I somehow managed to destroy my air unit. I don't know. I was not. There's no information given to the player. The only information is the lack of icons, and I kind of like the idea of a minimalistic UI, but it's not fun. The real sense. The game. Because the problem is that supply will arrive way too slowly, and you have to use your ally supplies. What I'm trying to hit. Okay, I need to send some recon units over there.
Грузовой автомобиль готов. Как ракетные сани на рельсах. Двигаюсь к точке. Заводи мотор. Минометный расчет слушает. Выполняю. Кого надо поддержать огнем?
Okay, and if I... Wow, gosh. If I'll ever use units like this, I'll have to use them one at a time, never all at the same time.
Грузовик снабжения готов к транспортировке. Вечеринка окончена. Вылазим, парни. ПВО, докладываю. Приказ понял. Выезжаем. Бог войны
There,
слушает.
the Buratino has ammo to fire.
Противовоздушная оборона. Слушаю.
I'll keep this here as
Радиолокатор ПВО развернут.
the air.
Противовоздушная оборона. Докладываю. Да, командир. Транспорт на связи.
Okay, they're trying to push us from the middle out. I have to prevent that from happening.
Уже в пути. Куда вас доставить?
Detonator and...
Погнали. Покажите мне пехоту. Я покажу, что я там нет.
I don't like the system. It's very hard to get used to it.
Армата готова работать. Понял, принял. Понял, принял. Пехот, на дорогу! Враги на моем пути.
I have no idea what's hitting me, and that's an issue.
Принял. Выдвигаемся. Без проблем. Только сначала запакуемся. 333. Прикрытие на связь. Мы под огнем.
We need more infantry.
Дэн, слушай.
That was
ведем
just to
бой.
scare them, I guess.
Задний ход. Поехали. Поехали, потом заведем. Сделаю. Работаем.
Okay, that was
Подъем
nice.
на расчет на связи. Куда вас доставить? Выдвигаемся.
I don't think they'll send their helicopters there soon enough. That thing is not destroyed yet.
Прикроем тяжеловес.
Better go resupply.
Коробочка на приеме. Поехали.
The armada. Yeah, I'll try to keep my units alive
Кому
for
тут
longer.
подсобить? Вперед! Транспорт в бою, жду приказов. Погнали! Здесь жарко. Куда вас доставить?
Okay, time to move.
Бронетранспортер на связи. Принял.
I want to grab over here.
Мехвод, Каскутов нажми.
And the door over there. No, this is going to be so bad.
Приказ понял. Едем.
I also don't see the point of using vehicles, to be honest. To be honest with you.
Транспорт заказывали? Покажите мне пехоту.
Like they're much worse than they should be.
Транспорт ждет приказа. Пути. Двигаюсь к точке. Тук-тук. Кто там? Заводи мотор. Заходим проверить все углы.
Also, I kind of like the kilogram style of the buy, but it's still annoying.
БТР на связи. Очистить трюм. Приказ понял. Выезжай.
Okay, send them in the wood over there.
Выдвигаемся. Противотанковое подразделение на связи. Покажите мне пехоту. Я покажу, что ее там нет. Кого надо поддержать огнем? Да, командир. Запускай машину. ПВО, докладываю.
those silly helicopters. Also, we should tell you, it's almost in line of sight or it's not.
Танки. Живее, живее давай! Прикроем тяжеловес! Боевая машина ждет приказов. Сделаю. Переход в заднюю.
Oh yeah, it does the same thing as it always does in noise, you know, and returning on the spot.
Скоро будем.
Thanks there.
Уже в пути.
Vehicles from support.
Танки грязи не боятся. Уже едут. Армата на марше. Огнеметный расчет слушает, мы в бою.
Yeah, they destroyed that. And that started destroying it.
Разведка на связи.
Okay. I'm liking this more because I'm learning as I'm playing.
Огнеметный расчет в действии, ждем ваших приказаний. Поднажми. Ударил
Fire.
громко.
Fire.
А говорили, не существует. Сделаю. ГРУ слушает.
Not sure what's left over there. Yeah, we lost everything.
Говори, куда
We
накрыть.
have the crab. Make them pay for that.
Только разложились. Погнали туда. Огнеметный расчет ждет
The
воздух.
toss still has some ammo. We'll take advantage of that.
Армата готова.
Come on, destroy that.
Пехотинцы ждут ваших приказов. Я уж думал, нас забыли. Ракетная артиллерия слушает.
Out of support. Support. A much better built area.
Принял. Выдвигаем. Ракетная артиллерия здесь.
Just far over there.
По улице
Fine.
3. И горизонт озарился пламенем. Без проблем.
What if I
Заряд.
are using a lot of helicopters? Or hope they don't do anything over there. They're just bunched up over there like there's nothing. I guess time to switch to the defensive, I guess.
Пути.
Where did I shoot this? Whatever. Let's just see where it lands. Only on some helicopters. Damage.
Готов сотрясать землю. Беттер здесь и здесь жарко. Первый пошел.
What the hell price?
Транспорт на поле боя. Да, командир. Коробочка. Потопали. Транспорт здесь. На максимальных оборотах.
It's not a hard game, but it's hard to understand how the units will move until they move, and they also lack a lot of vision.
Армада на связи. Ведем бой. Штурман, выходим на дорогу.
Didn't get it.
Ракетная артиллерия на связи. Никто не выживет. Огнеметный расчет на связи.
Other vehicles do I have? Let's move another T-90.
Армада на связи. Штурман, выходим на дорогу. Поехали, потом заведем.
And over there, that would have done some damage.
ПВО на связи. Приказ понял, едем.
Okay, they have some artillery over there which I really need to destroy.
Перемещаюсь на заданную позицию. Приказ понял. Армата готова.
Hey, we need supplies. I think I'm like understanding the game a little better, but still. Harder than it looks, mostly because you don't have... That's my only supply line over there. Lost G. I need some real infantry.
Приказ понял, выезжаем. Огнеметный расчет здесь.
Okay, yes. So you just have to move your artillery one by one. Hope for the best. I try. Be fun to pull off if it works.
Работаю.
That will work by the time they fire.
Готов. Транспорт ждет приказа. Баба с возу кобыли легче. Коробочка на приеме. Понял. Огнеметный расчет ждет ваших указаний.
Okay, that was not an ambush. Well, completely.
Выдвигаюсь. Развернуть радар. Принял. Зачищаем. Двигаюсь к точке. Принял. Выдвигаюсь.
Let's give them a target with the PTR.
Армата готова работать.
They cannot move at all. How do you make them move again?
Колеса приехали.
The simple answer is that you cannot. I'm just trying to kill their...
Принял. Занимаем позицию.
How do they do that? I don't understand. I guess they just use the helicopters to scout and then they just destroy me.
Огнеметный расчет слушаем.
Need.
Погнали. Выдвигаемся.
Okay, so I guess vehicles are not everything and I need more anti-air. But more specifically, I need better artillery
Понял. Принял. Едем.
and even more specifically long-range artillery, which I don't have. Okay, as a new player, I should probably not be playing with stuff like that. Okay.
Снабжение заказывали? Мы переезжаем.
No.
Дорога нас
Do
ждет.
not put them in the same place. That will be horrible.
Транспорт заказывали? Прием. Кто здесь?
For that attack,
Катимся. Противовоздушная оборона. Слушаю.
we secure that area, but I need to capture that point. Where is this Armata now move? Is there any point in keeping the tanks alive?
Противовоздушная оборона здесь. Да. БТР, слушай. Выбрасывай.
Okay, so sadly one unit will have to go over there in the rubble.
Проверим этот дом. Экипаж готов. Вперед. Тактический грузовик готов к перевозке.
I wish you could. I think you can queue up actions, but it's much harder than it seems.
Выгружаю. Да, командир. Громко и четко. Транспорт, слушаю. Поехали. ВВО
I
ждет
see a lot
цели.
of unfriendly units. that'll be conquered. I guess even more infantry.
Заводи мотор.
Okay, so before it's kind of like real life in a way. You need a defensive force, and you also need to make sure
Миссия выполнена.
you have reserves. Otherwise, you'll not
Армада
pull
в службе.
through.
Без
Slow
проблем.
to
Только
reload.
сначала запакуемся. Беттер здесь.
Hey, it seems we have stabilized more or less. We still have the grad that can or shoot fire. Okay, also you need to remember. Yeah, I guess that's why the artillery is not as good because you need to constantly
Миномет
resupply.
пересчет на связи. Сделаю. Противовоздушная оборона. Слушай.
There's a helicopter. But who's winning? I guess some enemies left. That's why we are having such an easy time. Yeah, so your brain will melt if you try to understand all of this.
Т-90 на связи. Понял, принял. Да. Поим как на параде.
We should.
Да, командир.
Just shooting 80 gems out of light vehicles.
Педаль в пол.
Modern warfare is not as fun as it sounds.
Громыхи. Арт-расчет на связи.
Okay, this is super slow to reload.
ПВО, слушай.
The door also.
Говорили, не существует. Координаты. Готов.
Can you fire at that supply line? Why is it not attacking them automatically? Total victory, I did nothing. Okay, so as a new player, it needs more work in my opinion. I think my units are not that bad, but I just need to use them a little better. It seems like the tanks are almost useless, if you ask me. Helicopters are much better, but not really able to do much either. So the problem with this is that I didn't have enough infantry. And all of these vehicles are nice, but you have to keep them alive. Weapon package wise, I guess weapon package wise they're very good because they all have autocannons. Okay, so we don't need to modify the infantry. The vehicles, on the other hand, this is like strong tanks like the T-14 Armata are not that good. Chrysanthema is a lot better. And what is the difference between a Coronet and Chrysanthema? I think just more ammo. 12-4 and 5. So time. No, it's just the multi-target ability, which is not that interesting. Also didn't get to use any of my drones, which they had 80 gems, but I guess this would have been shot immediately from the sky. Yeah, maybe don't use this many. I haven't really used any. I think you just need more recon vehicles, to be honest. So yeah, I need to defend better. Okay, that was not so bad after I learned a few things. The games are a little long for my taste, but I understand why. Oh well, see you next time. Bye.